Hello, everyone. Welcome to Hospitality Intelligence and Analytics video series. In this video, I am going to talk about cleaning the data sets. As a future hospitality managers with business analytics skills, you will encounter many messy data sets in order to do some analytical techniques. Now, these data sets might have like missing values, inconsistent formats, or even errors. So, the things we are trying to do is today, before you get into any kind of analysis, you need to understand it's critical to clean and understand your data. So, when we say understanding your data, you should know each variables, what are those for, what kind of values you should have. So hopefully in this video, we are going to cover step-by-step techniques to clean and organize data effectively using Excel. Considering that Excel is one of the most commonly used programs, and also it's very good with the data cleaning. So of course, you have to understand that there are many issues and many different techniques that we are not going to able to cover everything, but I'll just give you some basic ideas today. Hopefully, in the end of this video, you will understand the basics of how to clean data and how to use that data after that. Now, let's look at our variables first. Actually, let's do this. We are just doing two. So we have these data sets, values such as customer ID, age, gender, income, size, and all kind of satisfaction scores. So this is a restaurant customer data set, and this is our data. Okay. Now, there are many different methods to approach this, like I said, but let's look at overall, like I said, how do you feel about the data? One of the important thing is the removing duplicates. Now, when you look at this kind of data sets, you can see many different things. Like it could be duplicates, it could be like let's look at overall. Like this is the customer ID, there is an age. Like for example, in gender, I mean this is an obvious ones. Instead of F, there is a female, or there is a M instead of male, or others. All kind of issues you can see here, and here like there is a space in before and after, probably some of the values. In party size there are numbers and text messed up, and so on and so forth. Let's go with one by one to see to make this data a little bit more usable. Now, first thing is you want to see if there is any duplicates. Okay, if you click on here and under data, the remove duplicates, it's gonna show you everything is selected. It's gonna show you exactly if there is a duplicate. In this case, we don't have a duplicate. Why is duplicates are important? In this case, we have about 120 data sets. So one or two duplicates might not be very important. However, if for the small data sets, if you have a duplicates, that's gonna basically make the sum of the values double, right? So it might affect the averages, and you don't want to have that kind of additional information. Let me show you different things. In this case, the way I designed this data, each customer ID has a one purchase. This is a restaurant, so customer 2698 might come here multiple times, right? So that's normal. But for the sake of this exercise, we will assume that each customer ID been there one time. So if you look at the remove duplicates again, let's say the unselect all, I'm gonna select the customer ID, okay? And when I say okay, you will see 3 of the duplicate values, which means there are 3 customer ID with the same ID was there, and it's been removed. Now, you don't want to do these duplicates for the age, gender, party size, etc. Because let me show you, like for example, party size. If you say okay, 102 duplicate values found and removed, because there are many duplicates in the part size. Let's redo the process. Now let's continue with the age. Now, like I said, there are many different ways to do this. Like for example, we can create like a minimum maximum to get some ideas. As you can see, there are some issues already. But instead of do that, we are going to do is we are just going to look at the filter, and let's filter the age. If you look at here, I mean, it's not expected to have negative age or 2 or 3 years old. I mean, 24 is acceptable, I guess, starting from there. If you look at the end of data, is it possible to have a 105 years old? Yes, possible, but we're gonna, for the sake of this exercise, we're gonna assume that's a mistake. 126 also, 553 is also. Now, how can we eliminate them? So let's unselect and select only the one we are thinking with the problems. Okay, and we are going to delete them all. Now, if you've got the filter again, those are gone. Now, I just want to clarify one thing. I just want to be sure that that doesn't necessarily mean we have to delete every issue or every problematic value, because if we are not going to use age for our processes, maybe we don't need to really care about looking at that. But we are looking at the overall issues. That's why in this case we are eliminating them. Oh, by the way, let me emphasize this, and this is very, very, very important. Whenever you do this kind of process, be sure you go File, Save As. In this case, you can put like cleaned. I'm just going to put the 2 and be sure that it's saved. Now, why we are doing that? Because you don't want to eliminate the original file. Original file is already there. I'm gonna creating like a clean data set. In case we do some mistakes, we can go to original file and look, hey, what did we do? Let's check one more time to age quickly. Okay, now from 24 to 64, no problem. Okay, now let's look at the gender. What kind of issues there? Let's do the same thing. Do the filter. Okay, instead of female they put F, instead of male M, instead of others they put OTH. Now there are multiple ways to do it, but the easiest way is going to be to replacing. I did it before, that's what is there, but let me show you something. Let's say you wanna replace M with the male. Okay, when we say replace all, you see this is messed up the like female allele, like because instead of M it put male there. So you don't want to do that, right? What you want to do is you come here and replace, you select the match entire cell contents, because you want to be sure it changes only the full M, not all the letters, whatever the M is. So if you see the replace, it's replaced now. Let's do the same thing with the female, replace all. What else was there? OTH for other, replace all. That's it. Let's look at it again. Female, male, and other. Okay, excellent. Now there is a issue here. There is a missing value. You might want to change that, you might want to delete that, or maybe not. It depends. If you are not going to use gender as a category for whatever the analysis you are going to do, you might want to, you don't want to delete this. But in case you want to use everything, maybe you want to. So for the sake of this exercise, let's delete it because it's a missing value there. Actually, let's do this as well. Let's go to freeze panel and freeze top row, so we always know what is there. For annual income, What kind of issues? 20, 40, 161. Yes, yeah, this is look like good. The only issue I can see, there is some spaces that might create an issue for some of the programs. So what are we going to do is, and all, actually let's do this. Control C, Control V, 2. What you want to do is eliminate spaces. So you gotta use trim, and you can pull this like one by one, or you can click on this. It's gonna like do all the way to your value. As you can see, it's eliminated the spaces before and after if there are any space. Okay, so because some of the programs might be required that kind of it might create that the space might create with those programs. Now, if you look at the party size, okay, there are some issues. One person. Okay, we can use the similar approach. We can just go to replace. Okay, so 3, for example, 3. You might want to replace with 3. 3 people. 2. Replace all. There is a one person. And replace all. What else we have? Oh, 4. 4. Replace all. Okay. Now let's look at one more time. Oh, there is a THT. It could be, I mean, most likely it's 3, but now you have to use your own justification in a sense. But if you look at this other data, like visit duration is blank and amount spent is one of the most important ones, actually is a blank in a sense. It says value. So it could be a good idea to just delete this for the sake of simplicity. Now, what else we have? There is also one here missing. This also has a value. We can delete this one as well. Okay. There is a couple more. Let's do this. Instead of select, let's go with the blanks. Okay, this also could be deleted because it has a value here, amount spent, so we don't really need to do anything about it. Now, for this one, I mean, there are different ways. There is also missing values is handled with many different ways. And one of the ways is basically imputing, just eliminating. Also, some of the programs automatically ignore them when they do the calculations. Also, you can basically get the average of values, right? So, but in this case, I see that visit duration is missing, data restriction is in, satisfaction values are missing. I'm going to eliminate this as well. Okay. Now, what else is here? Let's see. So let's look at one more time. 1 through 7. Okay, there is a not a problem, but there is a things with the 28. Let's look at what it's about. First of all, it could be a mistake, right? But if you look at the amount spent, most likely that is a true value. Now, what are we going to do about this? Now, if it was a mistake, you just delete it. But this is what we call as an outlier. So basically, it's not in the range of averages you usually have. Most likely, there is a party, big party came, 28 people, they spent $1,400 and left. Now, for the sake of analysis, you might want to do like special analysis just related to these people. Who are they and what kind of menu they prefer, etc., etc. But because we are going to work, especially in this analysis with the satisfaction scores and such, I'm just gonna eliminate for this, but like I said, if you are doing a real analytics, you might want to check them out, what kind of people they are, and if you can bring them back, because they are a big party. But because we are focusing on the averages, I'm just going to eliminate this outlier for now. Okay, second thing. Not the second thing, but you understand. Food preferences. Okay, there are some issues. No preference. The major categories is no preference, vegan, vegetarian. Now, let's do this. First, there is a empty, like blank. That maybe you don't want to care too much about the missing value in this case, because unless you're gonna do some analysis, the food preferences. But this is definitely needs to change. This is most likely vegan, the way it's been written, and this is most likely vegetarian. You can just basically replace them, okay? And no preference. I mean, you can do it yourself, or if there is hundreds of ones, then of course you're not gonna do one by one, but you need to find much faster ways, such as replace function. Let's see again. Filters. Oh, it seems I put the vegetarian wrong. Okay, no big deal. We can fix that. Oh, got the wrong one. Okay. We just want to change this. Instead of E, we use the A. Actually, while I was doing, I also realized there are also spaces as be similar to annual income. We can do this simply. Insert here. C, Control V, and of course we need to put this in 2, and just add trim function again. And that's it. Let's look at the dietary restrictions, if there is any issues. Gluten-free, no gluten is the same thing, right? Dairy-free, that's it. So gluten, we're gonna combine gluten-free. I guess the gluten-free is better value. Let's do this. We don't need the none. I mean, if there is no restriction. Okay. All done. Oh, you're gonna choose this data free. You can use this. Where are we at? Home. And replace dairy free with dairy free. Replace all. Oh, you need to write correctly, of course. And replace all. Okay, what else was there? No gluten instead of gluten free, right? No gluten free. Replace all. Let's look at one more time. Dairy free, gluten free, none. Okay, good. Let's look at the table. I mean, maybe we don't care too much about the table preference, but just in case, yeah, there is no problem with those. Oh, okay. Now, couple things I can see right away. Let's fix it. We don't even need the replace function. There's a couple mistakes. Instead of 95 minutes, we're gonna put 95. Instead of 63 minutes, 63. And let's do the filtering again. Of course, -12 is not possible. 45 is acceptable. I mean, these two also messy numbers. Let's delete them, assuming that the visit duration is important for us. Okay, but cuisine, let's look. Chinese, Indian, Italian, Mexican. The only thing I can see is some of the written is all capital, some of them is like capital but with the smaller. I guess is the best way is to just do this. Once again, it depends on your analysis, but in somewhere you might need this and you might not do everything look like correctly. What we can use is there are a couple methods, but I guess the best one is the proper in this case. Proper is takes the text and capitalize the first letter of the each word. As you can see, like Italian was here, become an Italian. I seen some lower capital starting, and I don't remember where, but it fixed everything, so it's excellent. Now this is the one of the important values, right? So the first thing, of course, I don't think anybody spends negative. 32 is acceptable. Okay, I guess up to $698 is acceptable. We can check on that in how many party, and you might they might be ordered some wine or drink or something. Let's grab these values first. These are not acceptable values, especially in the amount spent is in one of the important values. We might want to delete them. But once again, I'm repeating this many times. If your analysis not involved the amount spent, you don't need to delete them, right? Because other values is fine, you just use them. Okay. Now, another issue I see, there are some has a dollar currency in front of it, some of them is just the values, and there is also some space issues. One of the good methods could be just highlight this, okay? Then you go to format cells, then you say, hey, this is a number, because you don't want to do currency in your analysis. You always use the basic numbers, and you don't need the cents as well, so decimal place is going to be 0. That's it. See, it's fixed everything. And just in case, let me check one more time. You always double check your work, always. So up to 698. So I just for 698 is here. Let me see, 4 people. Yeah, I mean, you know, they might spend a little bit more than what it is. So let's look at the satisfaction scores. Okay. Filter. I don't think negative is an negative unless they hate this restaurant. And once again, do you remember I told you need to know your numbers? Like personally, I know these are usually between 1 up to 10. Like when you do the satisfaction scores, there is a 5, 7, sometimes 9 and 10 is used commonly. Like for example, in the 5, like very satisfied, satisfied. The middle one, like the satisfied nor dissatisfied, and the last one, the fourth one is the dissatisfied, and the fifth one is the very dissatisfied, for example, right? Or this case they use from 1 to 10. So they told us that 1 is very dissatisfied, 10 to very satisfied. But these are like number 12 and -6 is not part of this, and also there's a blanks. So this is good because it's blanked. Everything is make it easier to remove. Sometimes you wonder if you want to remove, but everything is bad in that case. Now let's look at the other ones as well. Let me see. Filter. Let's check again. 1 to 10. 1 to 10. And 1 to 10. Oh, this is 1 to 5. So apparently, when they did this data collection, instead of 1 to 10, for whatever the reason, they put the staff friendliness satisfaction 1 to 5. You want to be sure similar items, like for example in satisfaction, follows the similar structure. Because the first 3 is 1 to 10, we want to change this to also 1 to 10. So how are we gonna do that? It's very simple, right? Because 1 to 5 is the half of the 1 to 10. We're just gonna take the value on this, multiply by 2. It's gonna give us the real values. So this is the one of the way to clean the data. Like I said, these are not the only data cleaning methods. There are many kind of weird issues and many kind of different things that you wanna you need to be able to clean. But for the basic approach, these are some of the main issues in the data sets. You need to know your data. You need to understand your data. You need to know what kind of choices out there, so you always make the good data cleaning practices. Okay, thank you for watching.